Welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this podcast is all about throwing your busy work out the window. You deserve to stay locked in on the parts of your business that light a fire under your hoo-ha, all right? The passion-driven freedom lifestyle, not being glued to your laptop every waking minute of the day. It's time to build a business that works for you, not one that works you into the ground. So, let's get unbusy, shall we? Hello and welcome back to the Get Unbusy podcast. My name's Kate Philpott and we've got another juicy conversation for you today. I am going to talk you through a major summit update. So today, as I'm recording this, we are 60 days out from the summit that I'm hosting in September called the Now That's a Membership Summit. And this has been quite an eye-opener, and I've actually come with stats today. So I literally have the actual data and the actual info and the insights of how I'm taking this massive project as a solopreneur and making sure that it happens, even though, spoiler alert, I'm a little behind. Okay, so a little bit of background. What I did here was I downloaded the CSV of my project inside Asana, which is what I use for my task management, and I put it into ChatGPT and I got it to give me the kind of information like how many tasks in total are there, how many have I completed, how many are remaining, the fact that we're 60 days out and overall it's 100 days of a timeline. How am I doing time-wise? Am I behind? How behind? And like, there's actual percentages here. I found this so interesting. And if this is ever something that you want to do, like hosting a summit or even just any major project that it's like a multi-month project, this is a real eye-opener. And I know that there's going to be some juicy insights inside here. So let's dive straight in. Oh, and for some extra context, I literally started my new job like 2 weeks ago, properly working with clients. I now have, I believe, 18 one-to-one clients who require calls every 2 weeks. And there's some like admin and responding to clients in between there as well. So this is a real interesting time for my own personal capacity. I've never had this many one-to-one clients, looking for communication from me every day. And it's definitely an up-level season. My energy has kind of reflected that in the last week or two, but having looked at this and the stats that I'm bringing to you today and how I'm going to move forward, and also, side note, a whole other thing I did was I did 2 weeks of tracking my time and energy, and I'm going to make improvements based on that. So I feel like this is only going to get better, but I will just start off and say I'm a little behind. Okay, now let's dive into the overall status, right? So the total number of tasks, this sounds ridiculous, but it's true. The total number of tasks in order for me to host this summit is 419. Yeah, that's a lot. The amount of completed tasks I've done is 72. Which means I'm 17.18% through, and I have 347 tasks left, which is 82.82%. Now, the only thing I will say to that is some of the tasks are literally the week of and the week after. So, do with that what you will. Take the exact figures with a grain of salt, but that's where we're at. And there are currently 17 overdue tasks. And the reason there are 17 overdue tasks is because, side note, in order to speed up the process, I invested in a program. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called Summit in a Box. And it is basically, well, the name kind of sums it up. It's Summit in a Box. It's like all the templates I could possibly need for hosting a summit, all of the strategy I could possibly need, all of the dashboards and guidance and everything. So I feel like with that decision and the fact that I made that decision, I already feel so much more confident in this summit and in my ability to do it. But I invested in Summit in a Box when it was already less than 90 days to the summit. It was like 80 days. They have these project plans that you can put into your Asana. And by that point, I already had overdue tasks for it. So I've been kind of trying to catch up on that while also starting my new job and like having a whole new capacity to deal with like 18 one-to-one clients. So just to give some BTS on how I'm behind and how, well, I'll talk about how I'm going to move forward in just a sec. A quick overview of the timeline. So the summit starts on the 9th of September. Today, as I'm recording this, is the 11th of July. So we have 60 days left, and I'm following a 100-day timeline, technically. It was 90 days, but not gonna lie, I had done a couple of things before I invested in Summit in a Box. So I had a few things done, but there were also some things that I had not thought of that apparently needed to be done earlier. So if you have a look at that, I'm 40% into the timeline and I'm only 17.18% through the tasks. So yes, we are tracking behind. I've completed less than half of what I would have wanted to complete at this point of the 100-day plan. I'm not panicking about that though. So here's what I have done at this point. There's been some pretty solid progress on some of the foundational stuff, of course, like generating a full timeline, clarifying the summit topic and the audience, and really niching that down. So for context, it's the Now That's a Membership Summit, which is a summit about creating an incredible member experience so that your members never want to leave. And it's specific for solopreneur membership owners who are building to their first 6 figures. So this is a really fun one. It's not necessarily about sales and marketing of a membership. It's about making the membership incredible, which I'm so passionate about. And if you're in my membership, Work Smart Academy, you know all about that. So of course, there's been a lot of drafting speaker pitches, finding perfect fit speakers, reaching out and contacting them and being like, hey, I think you'd be perfect for this. I created a speaker Telegram community and I've done the copywriting that's going to be going on the registration page, and I'm in the process of building out that registration page. Now, some of the overdue tasks is like some of the early tech setup, getting potential speakers in as guests on the Get On Busy podcast. I've got 3 speakers booked in as guests. And this, to be honest, this is an extra. This is really just like, hey, I want to give you the opportunity to come on my podcast and like get more visibility to yourself and build a bit of hype around you and what you're going to bring to the summit before the summit actually starts. And I don't think all of the speakers are going to take that booking anyway, but I'm sure there will be a few more that have not yet booked in, because the main thing that's happening at the moment is I'm looking at the timeline and I'm like, I really need to confirm the final list of speakers. I'm aiming to have 20 speakers that are membership experts, community experts, client experience experts, and stuff like that. I've got some pretty good names lined up, not gonna lie. I'm very excited about it. But I did not expect the speaker process to be so time consuming. Like, you know, finding the right people, finding people to speak on member experience rather than growing your membership. It's quite an interesting caveat, you know? But anyway, I also got ChatGPT to build out a back on track summit plan for me because, you know, I was like, okay, so I'm behind and I also have this new job. So we're going to have to do this in a real work smart way, if you know what I'm saying. So, and also, yeah, I could do that myself as a productivity strategist, but what's smarter working? What's the work smart way is to get AI to do it. So we're creating a work smart plan by working smart and using AI. Okay. So anyway, it said, let's get you back on track without burnout, without busy work, and with bold, beautiful leverage. Hell yeah, baby. Okay. So it was like, you're 40% into your summit timeline, but only 17% done. That's solvable, not by hustling harder, but by prioritizing impact, streamlining with systems and AI, optimizing your energy and your calendar, and cutting or condensing the task list. So one thing that it brought up straight away was you need to reclaim the timeline. So to take back 8 hours a week for summit specific work. And when it said that, I was like, does that mean adding an extra 8 hours of summit work, or is 8 hours a week enough? And when I asked that, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. So that was an interesting one. But some of the ways it wanted me to reclaim 8 hours of a week is by dropping from one podcast episode a week to every second week, unless it's a summit episode with a podcast guest. To be completely honest, I'm actually not convinced on that, because I have gotten the podcast process like down to a T. I literally worked an hour on a podcast episode last week and it was out. And I mean scripting, filming, editing, and generating the show notes and generating the promotion email to my list. Now, maybe at some point I'll talk about that process and how I've made it so easy, because I think that is one of the biggest productivity wins I've had all fucking year. But anyway, I really don't think the podcast is something that's taken a hell of a lot of work for me right now. So that's not a concern. Simplify life hack hours by batching. Now this this also came up as part of my time and energy tracker, because I've had 18 new one-to-one clients. That means I've had to onboard 18 new one-to-one clients, and the onboarding process for those clients is there's 9 steps. And that's something that, yeah, there's already some templates and some AI built in, but I definitely can whittle that down. It does not need to take as long as it does. So I'm going to have a look at that and see how I can systemize, create SOPs, create checklists, and just make that an easier process for myself. Another thing was it wanted me to cancel a lot of things and consolidate a lot of things. Now, the consolidation, yes, 1000%. This is something that I could do with a little bit more of. And today is actually the first day that I've started to do this. What I noticed was I was batching my days based on the category of task. So I would do loads of summit stuff together. I would do loads of life hack stuff together and loads of podcast stuff together. But actually, that's not the way I needed to be doing things. I needed to be doing things of what is the category of how I'm using my brain here? Is it creative work? Is it mindless, monotonous work? Is it me talking to a camera? What actually is it? I'm putting those things together. So this has been interesting, because today I started off with creative tasks, which was writing an outline for this podcast episode and writing an outline for one of my own summit presentations. Previously, I wouldn't have done those back to back, but I was using the same brain function to do that. So it actually worked out pretty well. And now I've just recorded one of my summit presentations and came straight into recording this podcast episode. So again, 2 camera things. I'm in the swing of speaking to the camera. So that's working really well, and I think I'm going to continue using that, even if it means going from summit to podcast or podcast to membership creation. If it's a creative task, I'm putting that with other creative tasks, even if it's to do with a different thing. I genuinely think that is a better way forward. Anyway, another thing that the AI wanted me to do was to delete a bunch of unnecessary tasks for the summit. Now, I think in order to even be an entrepreneur, you probably have some level of perfectionist in you. So yeah, do I want this to be the most perfect, most wonderful experience summit ever, ever, ever? Yes, I do. But also, why would I do that to myself? So there was something really fun I wanted to do, which is having a secret giveaway based on little Easter eggs throughout the summit. I was how fun would that be? But then that was going to mean that I'd have a whole other form to create and a whole other, a bunch of tech stuff to do. I have to add the Easter eggs each day and remove the Easter eggs each day and move them around. So that was going to add more work, even though I'm already doing bingo as part of the summit, which is another gamification piece and another fun engagement thing. So I was okay, maybe let's not do everything. Maybe I can do that next time when I have more capacity. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, I got it to go through the task list, and I was be really ruthless here. What does not need to happen for this summit to be successful? What is an extra, what's a nice to have? And yeah, it came back with some stuff, and some of the things I was oh no, that actually is necessary. But the other things that I would like to have included, just that secret giveaway, yeah, I just went in and deleted them, because I was okay, I'm already behind. I want to get this percentage of completion up. And yeah, you can get the percentage of completion up by doing and hustling your ass off, but you can also get the percentage of completion up by deleting the things that are not necessary. So just a little reframe for you. And if you're currently finding yourself overloaded by a project like this, I urge you to, first of all, yeah, have a look through the task list, but actually put it into AI and be like, what's not necessary here? Be really honest with me, I can take it, you know? So then I was like, okay, based on this task list, how many tasks do I actually need to do per week? Now, obviously, some tasks take a long time, some tasks take less, whatever. But I was like, on average, how many tasks per week do I need to do in order to be ready by the 9th of September? And it was like, okay, so days remaining 60, weeks remaining 8.6. Oh my goodness, that feels so close. Remaining tasks 347. I'm laughing because that's just like insane. Tasks needed per week 40.5. So, translation, you'd need to complete 40 to 41 tasks per week from now until the summit to finish everything currently listed. But many of those tasks can likely be batched or grouped together, delegated or templatized, removed if they aren't essential. And that's when I went and removed some things. But when I saw 40 tasks a week, I was like, okay, how would that translate to hours? And this is where that comes in about, it was saying, oh, reallocate 8 hours of your week. And I was like, wait, so is it 8 hours total that I should be working on the summit? Or is it 8 hours more than currently? And it came back with, okay, you should probably be working between 30 and 40 hours per week on the summit. And I was like, goodness. And that's if each task takes on average 45 to 60 minutes. Now, there are going to be a lot of tasks that take like 5 minutes and it's just about making a decision or creating a link or something. But there are tasks that are big, big tasks. So I was like, yeah, that probably is pretty decent as an average amount. So then it was like, reality check, that's not sustainable. And I was like, I hear you, sister. It was like, especially with Work Smart Academy, your podcast, life hack, and personal priorities. Yeah, you're not fucking joking. But it was like, but this number assumes that every single task is equally essential and solo executed. So like just me doing it. It doesn't account for batching, delegating, or cutting. That's when I got it to tell me what to delete. And here's the thing. I'm not really concerned still because this also doesn't take into account the fact that I have hundreds of templates from Summit in a Box. So I've really leaned in to Summit in a Box from the day of having it. So this is the thing. There are like hundreds of templates that are going to make it faster to complete the steps. And rather than me sitting down and writing every different type of email from scratch, I literally have a template. I just word it whatever way I want to word it. And the fact that I've really leaned into that from the beginning made me like, oh my God, I'm actually getting through quite a lot and this is feeling really real. It's like I was moving faster than I was mentally ready for. And that's the nature of the up level, I suppose. Like there are hundreds of things that are going to save my time with this investment. I think the hack here is to continue doing my mindset work every day, doing my EFT, where's the resistance, tap it out, like I am safe, I'm ready for this up level. Because buying the done for you resources really is just the beginning, but there is some serious transformation that happens when you actually implement them and you're like, oh my God, it's taken me half an hour to do something that would normally take me a whole week. And now I just move on to the next thing and it's actually done. Like, it's a bit like jarring. We're not used to moving that fast sometimes. And another great thing about the templates is there's strategy built into them that I would have otherwise forgotten because I'm not a summit expert. I know what summits are. I've attended loads of them. I've spoken at a bunch of them. But like, this is my first time hosting one. So it's interesting. But with this investment, like I said, I'm already 100 times more confident in how fucking juicy it's going to be, because I have this investment as a support system. And that was kind of more important to me than investing in actual outsourcing. And like maybe I'll outsource some of the admin like closer to the time. I genuinely at the moment I feel like we're good. It's a really interesting thing. I wanted to come up with some personal insights based on all of this information, right? So when I audited my 419 task summit plan, I realized that actually over 50 tasks could be deleted or batch together. Actually, definitely more than 50, but like at least 20 could just be deleted straight off because there were multiple tasks for certain strategies, Like the secret giveaway was going to have 3 or 4 different tasks, and that's just one thing, but I got to delete 4 tasks, let's say. Another thing is that for me, I really thrive on knowing the data, and I think this is something that I'm going to keep doing as I move through the project plan, even just to see, okay, where are we at on the timeline? Where are we at on percentage complete? And like, are we on track? For me, I feel like if you can't see it, you can't tweak it and refine and make sure that it's going to work. If I didn't do this, if I didn't get ChatGPT to look at my project plan, I could have just been blissfully unaware of how behind I was. And then in like a month's time, be like, oh shit, now I'm like 70% through the timeline and I've only done like 30% of the tasks. I could have been completely unaware of that, which would have really fucked me up in that last 30 days. But the fact that I know this 60 days out, I can tweak and I can adjust. And that is gold. That is absolute gold. So yeah, you can be 40% into the timeline and still really behind, but you still are only 40% in and you have enough time to catch up and to tweak and to delete what's not necessary. Like, it's an important wake-up call. Maybe it's the fact that I'm a Virgo, but I just love data because data doesn't lie to you. Data doesn't tell you that everything's going to be fine, just like your affirmations do. Like, data's like, hey, you're actually not good. Like, something needs to change here. Something's got to shift. So that was a really important kind of insight for me anyway. And then another big insight is the fact that not just batching tasks in general, but batching throughout the day is really energizing. Like I said, today, as I'm filming this, is the first time that I have ever batched tasks together in this particular way where I'm doing camera, creative, heavy thinking, monotonous, life hack, right? Those things just take different types of thinking for me. And I was doing so much task switching that I never fucking knew what zone I was in. And I was constantly just like scrambling, going from, this tab to this tab to this tab to this tab, and just kind of moving everything slightly enough, but not enough to actually get it done. And then just feeling at the end of the day like I did loads, but I didn't actually get anything done. So not the vibe, I think this one goes without saying, but like, if you have a big project plan and you're not leveraging AI and you're not using templates or SOPs, good luck. Like, good luck, because Jesus is going to have to help you. I'm not even a Jesus person, but like someone out there, Jesus, universe, whoever, someone has to help you, because like it's just not going to work. You're one person. You are one person. Maybe you have a VA. Maybe it's Jesus, maybe it's your VA. But yeah, someone's got to help you. For me, who's helping me is AI and the systems that I create along the way here. And also, of course, Summit in a Box. By the way, I'll have a link for that in the description below if you're interested in hosting a summit yourself. Now that I've seen how much is actually included here, I'm like, who did I think I was trying to do this without this? Like, it's just on a whole other level. It's incredible. But yeah, leverage really is not optional. This is required if you want to do this in a sustainable way. And I already know that if you choose to host a summit or whatever your big project is, if you choose to do this, I know that you've got other things going on in your life too. You've probably got fitness goals. You've probably got offers that you're selling. Maybe you've even got other launches in the lead up to doing this thing. You've got clients to serve. You've got family to think of. You've got a relationship. Maybe you've got friends who are looking to spend time with you. And yeah, we have to work this around our lives, because up-level territory is gonna push you. It's gonna stretch you, and that's great. But using leveraged tasks is something that's really gonna create massive momentum rather than just forcing you into survival mode, right? Another insight I feel like I have to say is just because it's nice doesn't mean it's necessary. Like, I really had to let go a little bit on some of those fun ideas that I had, like the secret giveaways and there was like some bonus banners and stuff like that. I love bells and whistles, but at the same time, is it going to completely change the game? Is it going to completely take away from the experience if I don't include them? No. Okay, laser focus, tunnel vision, keep moving on the most important things. Like, it's the only way. And then lastly, is that your calendar is a reflection of your priorities. And I did a whole episode on this a few episodes ago. You can say something is important to you, but if you don't have enough time for it actually built into your calendar, you are fooling yourself. Because, you know, I could be like, oh yeah, I've gotten 5 great hours of summit work done this week, but actually this is a fucking huge project and maybe it needs 20 at least. Maybe it needs 15. That's my priority right now. And what am I spending the other 163 hours on, if not the most important thing that is my priority right now? Like, you know, if your dream doesn't have space on your calendar, it just stays being a dream. And then it becomes something that stresses you out and makes you feel like you just never get to achieve your goals and you're a failure and all of this self-talk. But really, how it's reflected in your calendar is, it's another source of data for you. So, with all that said, if you have a big project that you're working on right now or something that is just massive and you're like, why am I doing this? I'm only one person. Or you're like, ooh, this timeline is looking a little bit tight. Then I hope you've gotten some insights from this. Like, I genuinely believe you can do it. I also believe that if you need to change the timeline, change the timeline. You're still doing it. I'm going to hold you to that. You are doing the fucking thing. You deserve this up level. But let's also do it in a way that we're not being perfectionists. We can let go of the nice to haves if it means that we still get to do the thing and create that result for both ourselves and whoever gets to benefit from that thing. Okay? Woo! All right. I'm going to leave that with you. And also, I would love for you to have a look at whatever project you are working on at the moment and plug it into ChatGPT and be like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. This is how long I've got. Like, please run an analysis for me. It could be really eye-opening for you. You just don't know. So, hope you enjoyed this. I will chat to you next week and go have a fantastic day. All right, bye. All right, gorgeous. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Get Unbusy podcast. If you got some juicy golden nuggets from this episode, I want to hear about it. So take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at More to Life Kate, because your girl wants to know. And remember, you're an absolute powerhouse. You can create the life you've been dreaming of. And I can't wait to see you pop off. Chat to you soon. Bye.